like, decade. And yet there's still this problem with poverty in Loudoun County. In Loudoun County schools, 800 students are homeless and 12,000 students are under the poverty line, which is 17.4%, which is astonishing for something like Loudoun County. And I mean, it's Loudoun County. Like, you wouldn't expect these numbers from such a affluent area such as Loudoun. Just imagine what these numbers are like in impoverished areas. Just imagine like how many students really need help. This just comes to show how big of a problem poverty in our schools really is. These students are coming to school hungry, without appropriate clothing. Maybe it doesn't fit them. Maybe they're wearing tank tops in winter. They may not have enough school supplies. They may be lacking adult mentorship due to long work schedules, and they may be frequently sick. All of these factors combined can put the student at an academic disadvantage, which can lead to high stress. Who's advocating? Hold on. Yeah, you may have to. Yeah. So who's advocating for these economically disadvantaged students? Are we teaching them to advocate for ourselves or themselves? And are we creating a long-term plan to help these students now and in the future? Advocating isn't a simple one-and-done deal that makes everything better. It takes sustained advocacy with high energy and effort to create an enduring outcome.
How do you switch to the next slide, Jen?
There's like little arrows down here.
Oh, arrows, got it.
Sometimes touch.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I see. You talk.
Yeah. So I'm sure many of you have heard the give a man a fish story. I mean, I have. For those of you who don't know, the story goes, if you give a man a fish, you can feed him for a day. But if you can teach the man to fish, you can feed him for a lifetime. And the same could be said about advocacy. If you advocate for one day, like as many of you know, those bullying, things.
Seminars.
Yeah, seminars. They only last 1 hour, and for maybe a day, everyone's like, wow, I need to really make sure this is good, and then they forget about it. But if you advocate and you approach it with a goal in mind of creating that enduring solution, then you can make a true difference. And all of you as teachers, your difference is educating these kids and motivating them to stay in school and go on to college, where they can use their education to make a positive impact for the world. And I know as a student, there are some vibes in the classroom that really make me motivated and want to learn. And it starts with being passionate and enthusiastic. If you love what you do and you do it really well, then you are almost set to succeed, and the results may be contagious. For example, when I was in elementary school, my family and I started volunteering at the local food pantry. You know how they are. Some of them, ours was in the basement of the church. It was dark, it was cold, and there was food everywhere, on tables, on the floor, piled up against the walls. I mean, it was everywhere. So our job that night was to sort the food into areas. Like, me and my sister moved corn to the vegetable section. We'd move the dehydrated milk to the drink section. And over time it became fun, and we made a game. We were racing to see who could do better and who could get it faster with the best efficiency. And I really liked this experience. So when I went back to school, I told all my friends about it, and sure enough, the next week, not only my friends, but also their families came. Now, since we had already sorted the food, we put it into bags so needy families could come and pick it up. Now, although I was only, I think it was 7, I was still able to understand that these families couldn't afford to buy food, and they couldn't afford to go to the grocery store. And this really made me sad. And a lot of my friends also realized that, and they felt the same way. Now, as a teacher, imagine what passion and enthusiasm looks like in your classroom. I know Mr. Egg. He may be lacking in some areas, but he is. I don't know. Wait till you see his Christmas sweater.
Style, for sure.
But he was definitely not lacking in passion and enthusiasm. I mean, I think a lot of you know this man, but he was definitely not lacking. As his students in 7th grade, we wanted to work hard, and we wanted to do well. We did not want to disappoint him because of his passion. And he created a really good, positive environment. and a positive, upbeat environment is all-inclusive, doesn't discriminate, and creates a good environment where kids will want to learn, and they will have high energy.
You're good.
Now, many economically challenged students, and a lot of other students, are a little self-conscious, and like most kids, they just want to fit in. They want to adapt to the new trends, and they want to do all this stuff. But for economically disadvantaged students, they have some obstacles. They may not be able to buy the popular clothes, they might be dirty, they might be unable to bring their own lunch, and they might be lacking school supplies. Now, this social inhibitor makes it harder for these kids to believe in themselves. It might take someone else to believe in them first. For example, how do you think I can stand up here and talk without believing in myself? It's because I believe in myself because others believed in me. Mr. A believed in me when he first invited me to this conference last year. Mr. Lamnack believed in me and my fellow presenters after speaking with us last year. You guys in the audience believe that a bunch of random high schoolers from Loudon would have something important to say. My family believed in me because they're willing to spend money on this trip for me to attend this conference. As a result, I believe in myself and I am willing to do this.
You good? Keep talking.
Okay.
I got you.
No, I'm keep going.
You know, you're just being so epic, they wanted to clap.
Yeah.
That's right.
So teachers want to earn the trust and respect of their classes. I mean, if you can trust the student and the student trusts you, that's a really good thing. They try to show by example by being respectful to everyone. If a student in one of those classes disrespects someone or treats them differently because of any discriminator, not only do they know it is not allowed, but they also realize it's not right. For economically challenged students, it can be harder to earn this trust, as they have many obstacles not only in their home life, but also in their social and academic life. One of the big things to do is don't jump straight in and just ask, are you economically disadvantaged? Because then they will definitely run away and the connection, not really, but then the connection between teacher and student is lost. And if this happens at the beginning of the year, that teacher will spend hundreds of more hours with that student. And the year is pretty much wasted. We talked about days being wasted, but how about a whole year? The entire year of school, just down the drain and completely gone. And as a student, and even as an adult, the thing you do is ease into it. Build up that student's trust. And once they trust you, then you can talk to them about their personal life. And then you can help them get aid. I know as a student, and even as an adult, when someone makes a genuine compliment to you, you feel great. I mean, if someone, especially if that person is higher up, you just feel like, oh my gosh, like I've been called upon or something. And you just feel like you can do anything. What did you say?
I said I love it.
You said that person would be me. Wouldn't it be great though if there are these opportunities in the classroom to make these long-term impacts? Ladies and gentlemen, there's something called poetry. Students can be intimidated by poetry. The unknown is kind of scary, and especially when some students think of like college-level poetry, they start to shake in their shoes. But there are two kinds of poetry. There are the ones that you learn in elementary school where the meaning just stands out so clearly, but then there are the other ones that have deep, intricate, meaningful, metaphorical meanings that really mean something. It's not just like you have two paths in life, the path to success and the path to failure. It's a lot more intricate than that. And when you have these poems, your kids want to think, and your classroom becomes an open forum for discussion. I mean, your classroom can let students see into each other's point of view. Like if one student thinks one way, maybe they'll be like, oh wow, I see you think another way. Like, wow, I totally understand where you're coming from. And this lets students feel for other students or different groups of students. For example, if you're reading a poem about poverty, you can create an empathetic understanding for not only maybe there's a poverty-stricken kid next to you, but also the group as a whole. You can build an empathetic understanding of what they have to live with, and you can really see what their life is like. The great thing about poems and writing in general is that anyone can do it. You don't need like a computer, you don't need like big fancy supplies. All you need is a willingness to share your belief. What at first appears intimidating becomes something that can open up a classroom and can share students' personal stories. But then we all know there's those shy kids. that will never speak up no matter what you do. And for them, journal writing might be a good option. Journal writing is a great tool to let loose emotions, to tell the truth in a more private setting. Writing lets people express who they truly are, and to quote Penny Kittle, writing releases pain and brings hope. These writing sessions can make the student further trust the teacher and vice versa, which can lead to a personal relationship, which has a lot of benefits. Let's face it, we all know that if a student doesn't like their teacher, then they will probably not like that class, they probably won't do their homework, and they will definitely not share their input in conversations like these. Advocacy is not a simple one-and-done deal that makes everything better. It takes sustained effort and high energy to create an enduring solution. And all of you, as teachers, or authors, or publishers, or a student like me, you have a unique and powerful opportunity to make a difference in somebody's life. You might know the person now and have no idea what situation they are in. But all of you can help, regardless if they're economically disadvantaged, or if they're gay, or if they are in love with their extracurriculars, or if they even have another problem. You can help them power through. Being passionate, enthusiastic, creating a safe place with trust and respect, and growing a student's self-conscious will improve the likelihood that that student will want to stay in school and get an education and do something with their life. Are you guys willing to lead the charge, or are you going to sit back and hold back your power in regret? Thank you.